Alright, guys. It is time for an IEM Katowice replay cast. Now, these are going to be pretty chilled, somewhat analytical. I'm also going to be sipping my coffee while we go, because I just landed last night, and I'm tired. And I got to stay up for at least another 8 hours to get my sleep schedule going okay. Up here in the top left-hand side, in the blue, it's Namshar. And down here in the bottom right, in the red, it's Cure. Now, I'm going to be starting by just picking a few of the series from the very early open bracket stages and just going through and grabbing the ones that are most applicable. Is this music good for YouTube? I'm not 100% sure. It should be, but let's be safe. Let's be safe. We'll put the StarCraft music on EMC too. Good point. Thank you for the timeout, my lord, says Major Tom. No worries. I mean, you asked to be timed out or banned. I oblige. I oblige. It should usually be fine, but every now and then some of these other video game soundtracks are copyright, and I'm like, why would video game music be copyright? So dumb. But not all. Some game designers in the last 5 years still hadn't realized how big YouTube and Twitch streaming is. Apparently they're living in a dark hole, so they're like, yeah, let's just have music that's copyright. Anyways, Cure versus Namshar. So Cure, everyone was like, oh my god, Cure is so good. And he didn't really have the best run at this tournament, so I'm just interested to see how the games go. Namshar as well, I kind of... a very hot and cold player, very defensive. I know Protoss players get really frustrated playing against him because they feel like he doesn't react to a lot of the things they do. He just tries to like find a solid way to play. I always think of Namshar as like mini Snoot. Like he just wants to play the same thing every game, get up to the macro stage and win there. And he's just mechanically very sound, tight build orders, and all this sort of stuff. He does mix in some timing attacks, but I guess in Legacy of the Void, aggression is more than ever rewarded, right? And I feel like, oh god, I love those little disc claws. I feel like if you don't go for any aggressive builds or enough of them, and you kind of lack that aggressive, multi-prong kind of, aggressive diving, like intuitively just diving in at the right moment and looking for a backstab. If you kind of lack that in Legacy, I think you do miss out on kind of taking advantage of your opponents a bit. So let's take a look. Obviously, I'm kind of simplifying Namshar as a player. He's a pro gamer. He can do everything. It's just a matter of, what stands out about him as a player. Ooh, Cure looking for that creep tumor snipe. Not able to get it. Cute, cute, cute. Back at home, we do have the Hellions on the way, the barracks, and the starport. Double gas is up. And command center with the orbital on the way as well. Cure seems to have studied his opponent. We don't often see people go for this sort of like gas first, straight into reactor, no SCV scout, Reaper straight across the map. Because against a pool first, you can get punished pretty bad. But these European Zergs, Namshar especially, very rare that they're going to go pool first. Unless they're wanting to counter like a 2-Rax meta or something like that. It's kind of good. Thank you guys for answering questions in chat. Exclamation mark coaching. People were asking about the background before. I forgot to answer. Exclamation mark background. So, yeah. Just thank you very much for helping out the people in chat who are asking the questions. Thank you, everybody. And Panda Eat Pizza. Much love. Thank you for the support. All right. I love this little depot wall, by the way. It allows you to build your third on location. So this is something I got to start doing on this map, and you all should do it as well. Rather than walling off this way, wall off there. And yeah, like later on, you can always wall here if you absolutely have to, but it just allowing yourself to build your third on location is awesome. This Reaper, by the way, continuing to tank, allowing the Hellions to snipe off creep tumors here and there. How many queens have we got? Just 5 queens and already into banelings. So looks like Namshar not playing a queen-heavy style. We've seen Sue play this style against Terran as well, where it's like 5 queens and then just rely on Lingbane. And it can work really damned well. We'll have to see how it goes here. Hellions and a Lib. Oh my lord. And another Lib on the way as well. So Q is going to be doing this. We've seen it more and more this tournament where people just keep making Liberators and like 2, sometimes even 3, and rallying them across. Which I think it's nice because it does add a little bit more depth to your pressure than the old school Viking into Lib. Third CC goes down in the main, so relatively safe. And he is going to actually wall there. Okay, playing nice and safe. Oh, damn, TKL. Damn, you were streaming late, dude. Thank you so much for the big 55 viewer host. See your you guys at O Gaming have been friggin' killing it. So when's Nation Wars? When's Nation Wars? Thank you everyone who came over for TKL's stream. Appreciate it. Good reaction here by Namshar, and doesn't send the drones back too early. Queen does clean that up. This is good defense by Namshar. 3 mineral lines fully saturated. It's a solid rule of 1 gas. And obviously, yeah, the upgrades are going to be quite delayed. And ooh, yeah, that extra lib, no overlord up here just yet. This overlord was up there, but he didn't have anything fully spotting. He's going to lose a lot of mining time here. Now, if Hellions were able to dart in and get those drones, that would have been awesome. Look at this. Queen, nice micro by Namshar. He's going to lose a little bit more mining time, but he's just so methodical about not letting these Liberators actually get kills. And that is awesome. Hellions run in, and they have to run away from the Banelings, of course. Liberator falls in the main base. Straight back to mining. As I said, Namshar, defensive beast. Creep tumor. Wall is set up. And this is a relatively light pressure build for Cure. Yeah, he added a second lib, but he skipped the Viking because he knows a lot of the Zergs only send a single overlord across the map, and a Marine can kill that when it scouts. So the Viking just doesn't get as much utility these days against the top Zergs. And that's why we've seen the meta kind of shift away from that. Cure trying to get some damage, but he's being cornered here. Namshar, he's creating a net of Zerglings. That's what you want to do. Notice he says, look, when you try to run past, the Queens will kill you, and my Lings are just stopping you from running past. But if he just headbutts like that, you notice the Lings clump up, and that's where the Hellions get a bit more splash damage, because the Hellions do a straight line of splash damage. But nonetheless, they do end up getting worn down, killed out. We've got +1 Carapace on the way, +1 melee finally starting up at 6 minutes 30. Very late. Very late upgrades here. That being said, the upgrades weren't insanely early for Cure. Cure went 3rd CC, then 3 barracks, and only then started the engineering bays. I think. I could be wrong. Could have been E-bays before barracks, but I don't think the upgrades started straight away. This SCV, I think he might be trapped. Thought he should be able to get through there. Not sure. First 16 Marines with 2 medevacs are here. Often this does get across the map a bit earlier at 6:30 as well, so not sure if Q has missed 1 or 2 tiny little beats with his macro, something which like Maru or Innovation. They're usually really tight at getting across on that timing. Loses a few Marines and takes some damage on the medevac, and Namshar, most importantly, maintaining map control to keep pushing the creep. If you don't have enough units ready for that, it's really bad. But look at this, Namshar up on 70 workers, macro hatches on the way. He's going for the Hydra upgrades, very fast infestation pit. And this 4th base in the middle here on King's Cove, I feel like it's so hard for Terran to push. I think Terran players should always be looking to push through this area, because it does allow you to push both towards that natural and this 4th. But we'll have to see. Cure might kind of do the pushing through the north side of the map, which I do see a lot of top players do. I definitely feel like this map might get vetoed more and more for Terran as time goes on, though, just because that base is so safe. It's so hard to branch into that 4th base, and I feel like as the Terran, you kind of got to do that bunny-style multi-prong aggression to really play this map correctly with Bio versus Zerg. Cure is going to be taking gases on the 3rd base. It's up to 5 barracks. We've got the 2nd factory out, built on the tech lab. Widow mine production already on the way, 2 at a time, so it's going to have a lot of Widow mines really early. And I feel like one of TY's big mistakes when he played against Solar was just not building those Widow mines until exceptionally late in the game when Hive Tech was out, and it was like, just too many pushes without the splash damage support, getting overwhelmed by Ling Bane. Good chase here by the Hydras. Nice hustle. That medevac's actually going to fall. Ooh, is it? Is it though? No, it gets out of there. So we see 2-pronged group pressure here by Cure. We've got Control Group 1, Control Group 2. Rest of the army is not control grouped. It's just kind of rallied down to the front. Full CC is going to go down there. I almost feel like why not just build it on location? Yeah, okay. He's going to build it down there. Interesting. I think that's probably better, actually. I've been taking it there, but it's very wide open, the areas where the Zerg can crash in onto it. Slowing down the creep spread very well. Up to 6 Widow Mines here. Would love some more Widow Mines with this forward pressure. Picking up at the very last second. Nice and dangerous. But keeping the creep contained. Namshar's up to 77 workers. You're going to notice here that he is missing gas. No, he's actually gone 6 gas. I guess because he took his gas late. He decided he needed that 6 gas. A lot of the time you'll be missing one of the gas guys, is often in the main base, with this Hydraling Bane into Hive style. But Namshar's got such a nice work account with 15 on that 4th base anyway. 11 in the main. Yeah, he's actually going to be able to use this 5th base in the near future. Transfer a few of the extra workers out of the main. You can see he's just done that. And this natural, at about 11 minutes 30, you want to start transferring there. Trying to just bait units into Widow Mines is Cure. Namshar's micro is impeccable. Splitting Zerglings off and taking that that damage out for free. This Hydra Bane could catch drops on the map, actually. That could be big. Widowmine drop on the back of the natural. Sorry, I missed that. It does get 9 worker kills. Hydras are going to clean that up, though. Namshar, will he replace those drones? Only 5 being replaced there. Maybe not quite realizing just how many went down. Those gases, he does need to put workers back on gas as well. So 6 more drones on the way. Namshar still at a decent worker count, but definitely Cure just slowing him down, slowing down the creep spread a little bit. Spire's only now starting. Adrenal Glands already on the way. Overlord Speed on the way. No Ultra Cavern, and it's kind of a late Spire for Brood. So are we going to see Vipers here? I don't think so. You know it's Widowmines. There's no reason to get Vipers except for a little bit of Parasitic Bomb. Blinding Cloud versus Bio, really not the most important. So I'm kind of wondering why Namshar took so long to get the Spire, since it seems like Broodlords is the decision. I feel like he could have gone there a bit earlier. 9 more workers on the way. So I think Namshar kind of realizing, wait, I can use more workers here. My economy is not quite as beastly as I would like it. I like the Spore Crawler on the edge. Do we have any more spores on the edge? No, and not the craziest map vision. Now there is an Overlord here, so I'd love a few more units over on the left-hand side ready to deal with that drop. We've got another drop on the top side as well. Cure looking to push through the middle with the Biomine. 3-3 on the way. It's 2-2 versus 2-2 right now. And of course that ship plating, or vehicle plating I should call it, is up on level 1. Level 2 on the way. So that's good for your Benevacs, your mines, your Thors, your tanks. The vehicle plating upgrade is really good just for giving a little bit of extra tanking ability. And obviously the attack doesn't help at all with mines, as it is just the set amount of damage. Ooh, nice split off. The Widow Mine decides to kill 3 Medivacs. Oh man, and the Marines taking some Baneling hits. Those Widow Mines way too clumped. His whole army was on creep, and he was just too far forward. Cure loses his drop on the north side as well. He's going to lose that Medivac also, most likely. These units still way too far on the map. Cure needs to just tuck his head in and go home and go to late game. He's got to turtle up. There is a drop in the back of the natural. That's going to do something. Is it going to do enough? I don't know, man. Oh, God. That's... Oh, God. Oh, my Lord. Lings getting on top of the rally at the natural. A few Hydras do get overwhelmed there. Remember, Bio against pure Hydra. It's very good for the Bio. And that drop's going to pick up and leave. Back here, though, Lings surrounding the Marines. Oh, my God. There's just too much. Too much for Namshar. Cure taking a disastrous engagement in the middle of the map on creep. Losing all of his mines and a lot of his Bio. Just not really being able to get in distance of the Zerg, I think. And I think he felt a bit pressured to kind of get his push moving forwards and to get closer to the Zerg territory. And because of that, did take some bad engagements. Now this base is there. Ha! Baneling's morphing in the Terran base. Going to be a little bit wasteful. Units lost. Obviously, Terran's a little bit ahead, but you want to be quite a lot ahead against a Zerg who's had this much freedom and control. If you're sitting back as much as Q has been in this match and just kind of picking away with drops, you kind of want to make sure you take fantastic defensive trades, and just one big swing in like that where they ruin your SCV count, you've got to kind of just rebuild. So I like that Q is splitting off a drop on the north. It's a double drop. Very ambitious. It's building a lot of Widow Mines. No sign of Ghost Tech or anything. It's trying to add Liberators in here, but the Brood Tech's almost out. That's just an insane amount of Zerglings. Like, Namshar's like, he senses he's just got the bigger army right now. He doesn't need all the Banelings and all the supporting units. And look at this. Because he's got so much map control, he's going to be able to potentially morph his Broodlords in a forward location, which means it's going to take them much less time to get across the map. And he might just be able to win the game with one big punch to the face. Ghost Academy's finally on the way, but I really don't think that's in time. Oh, Lings, Hydras, and Corruptors coming in here. He picks up. I think he actually needed to stay on the ground there. I think he had enough Marine Marauder to clear that army. But, you know, you never know how many more units are coming in as the Terran, so it makes sense that he picks up. But it's just gonna be a lot of dead Medivacs is the problem. Does keep 3 of them alive. Lands here for now. The problem is the Corruptors are still here, and more Ling Hydra coming in. The Lings, yes, a lot of them die, but they're Lings. They're cheap. Oh, these Widow Mines are way too clumped. Roll the Banelings in. Roll the Banelings. So what you want to do whenever you see Widow Mines clumped like that, you want to roll at least 3 Banelings in and just kind of manually detonate on the Widow Mines before they fire. It only takes 3 Banelings to kill a Widow Mine. Those Widow Mines are in a clump. 3 Banelings for 3 Widow Mines. Great trade for the Zerg player. 3 Banelings for like 7 Widow Mines. Godlike. Disgustingly good. Q are losing more units on the north. I can't really be affording this right now. Namshar continues to have dominant creep spread through the middle of the map. Because of that, Q's only way to put on pressure is with these drops. But you can see here, Namshar spotting them so far ahead. Look at Namshar's map vision. Overlords all over. Could use some more on the north side, as well as some more on the south side a bit further out. But already, the Spore Crawler, the Queen, that Medivac low on the orange life. Kewers desperately trying to find a 5th base here. I mean, Fusion Core's on the way. He's thinking about range libs, but that's not the sort of game we're in. Broodlords are the concern right now. Range libs are not that important. You need Ghosts, you need Vikings, Thors. Broodlord's coming across, and he sees it. And as I think Kewer's saying, oh, I can't fight the Broods, let's counterattack. Guess what? The moment you get way too eager to push deep on creep against Banelings, Banelings say, get wrecked. Welcome to Dicktown. And pretty damn sick spreads there from Kewer, showing he's got some Terran gymnastics. Does the splits. Don't think it's enough. Planetary down there. We'll be able to survive. This base is the target. Second wave of Lingbane plus a few fungals comes in. Wipes that out. Orbital goes down. Broodlords raining death and destruction upon this base. Ghost count is at 2. There's ghosts aren't going to cut it. You need Vikings here, but it's just too late. You know, he's trying to counterattack. Kewer took too much damage early, lost too much momentum in this game. Liberators are trying to siege up. They're getting a few workers, knocking Namshar down to 76 drones. That's right, down to 76 drones. You heard that correctly, boys and girls. 76. Yeah, down to 76. You know you're kind of screwed as Terran when you're like, oh sweet, I got the Zerg down to 75 workers. The Zerg's just like, thank you, I needed more supply for my army. And you're like, oh, creep's still on 70% of the map. Not 70%. What is it, like 55% of the map's creep, maybe 50%. But it's just too far out in the middle. If this creep was just like one screen further back through all these middle areas, suddenly, you know, the ability to keep the Zerg in the dark is much more, you know, it actually exists. Not to mention keeping a Viking alive from early and just clearing up these overlords against any Hydra style is so good. If you're playing this drop style like Kewer is, the ability to delay your opponent seeing the drops until they enter the base is huge. It makes a big difference. So it looks like Namshar's got this in the bag. Gonna slowly and methodically move across the map. I'm sure people are like, why wouldn't he just go early? He had 3 Hydras with his Broodlords. He had to pull back because he knew Vikings were coming out 2 at a time. Even now, you can see he's caught out on the map a little bit too deep. It's like, where are the Corruptors? Get over there, Corruptors. Nice fungal, though. And single Corruptor and a Hydra. Gonna finish off a lot of those Vikings. So he's just trying to rally in a bit more anti-air, more Corruptors and so on, before he pushes too forward. Where are the Queens? He's got 7 Queens. He should be pulling those all to the front. The power of pulling your Queens with your Broodlord army is disgusting, guys. It's so good. A lot of people are like, but where do I put them? I guess if you're someone who puts your spellcasters in your army, then that's going to suck for you. But as long as you've got the sort of control group set up that Namshar has, where it's main army on one, so that's your Lings, your Hydras, your Banelings. I personally would put Corruptors on that as well. But a lot of people prefer to do it the way Namshar's done it, where the Corruptors are with the Broodlords, and then you've got the Infestors, the primary spellcasters. So this would be Vipers if you preferred Vipers on the main key, on their own key. But you just throw the Queens in with the main army, because there's no spellcasters. You use them like a general combat unit, and you just select your main army and spam transfuses. It's like the lowest priority thing after, you know, landing fungals and making sure your units are used correctly. But it is quite important. Now, the reason I don't like having Corruptors on the same key as Broodlords is stutter stepping your Broodlords. They're actually one of the most microable units in the game. Now, they don't look it. They look like a slow, just floaty boy. And you're like, well, whoa, surely you just A-move Broodlords. You can make your Broodlords about 6 times more effective if you're good at stutter stepping them. And I see some really good pro gamers, even like Raynor sometimes, he doesn't even have his Broodlords control grouped, and he's like control clicking them and moving them in and out to get shots off. Because the thing is, you only need to actually attack for half a second, not even that, like a tiny fraction of a second, and then you can pull your Broodlord back like 300-400 range, and they'll keep attacking. So basically, you could be pulling these Broodlords back, and you lure your opponent into your units. Now, obviously, Namshar doesn't need to do that. He can just A-move. But it's really nice to have your Corruptors, I feel, on a separate key, so you can kind of get a shot off, pull your Broodlords back, and then when the Vikings come too far forward, you fungal them, you A-move, your Corruptors go in, and you smash them. So game 1 goes to Namshar. It's a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. This is, of course, an open bracket round of 76 match. So it is a best of 3. And this was an upper bracket match in the very first bracket of IEM Katowice. Thank you very much, everyone who hopped over from TKL stream before. Appreciate that, gang. And thank you very much. Hellcat with a 25-month resub. We've been going steady for over 2 years. Should we get a goldfish together? Yes. Just be prepared for it to die from me forgetting to feed it. Gravelord Nito, thanks for the 4-month respawn. It's not like a puppy or anything, so no one really cares if their goldfish dies. You're like, oh, that's sad. And then you like forget about it 2 minutes later. But it's like a puppy, that's like a real investment. You got to take care of that, right? So yeah, 2 years in, commit to a goldfish. Sounds realistic. Gravelord Nito, thanks for the 4-month resub. My man, Rogue Beer with the tier 2 14-month resub says, hi, welcome back. Great job at Katowice. So thank you very much for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. Going to answer a few of those questions in chat during this early game. Up here in the top left, up 1-0, convincing, defensive, macro. It's Namshar. Good game, good games. Down here in the bottom right, in the red, it's Cure. I really feel that engagement where Cure pushed onto creep and had all the Widow Mines kind of behind the bio and also a friendly fire Widow Mine kind of gunned down his own units was the big disaster for Cure. It was also because Cure was very Marauder heavy, which is really good if your opponent fucks up their micro. Because Marauders are tanky, your opponent's units clump up around the Marauders, Widow Mine shots get devastating damage. You also have more concussive, more tankiness. That's really good with heavy Widow Mines if you're in Diamond League. No offense to Cure, I'm not sure if he went extra tech labs or if he just kept his Marauder production steady. Didn't work against Namshar because he didn't have the firepower. Marines have a lot more damage than Marauders. If you have enough Marines, you'll gun down the front-running Zerg units. So if they try to spread too much, split their units up, say they pull back their main army and they try to let a few Zerglings go forward to drag Widowmine shots, it won't work because the Marines will just gun down their Lings and Banes in small numbers. They need to really commit to rushing in with everything if they want to actually overwhelm that Zerg army, that Terran army, and kind of pull the Widowmine shots into doing friendly fire damage. So that's why you'll always see top tier pros prioritize Marines. Yes, they're more fragile. Yes, if the Banelings connect with them, they're terrible. But if you micro them correctly, they have the ability to gun down the Zerg units at such a fast rate. They have to kind of come in with larger clumps of units at a time. And that's where your Widowmines will get some real nice damage. We saw Lings very easily dragging Widowmine shots away. So there was multiple times where Cure wasn't supporting his Widowmines. He was kind of setting them up in the middle and trying to drag Namshar into them while he was clearing creep. And Namshar was always watching. And he just spread, set them off with individual Lings, cleared up the mines for free. When the big push happened, there weren't enough Marines. The mines weren't correctly placed. The last 5 or 6 of them were all in a clump and went down to a few Banelings. That just lost the momentum for Cure in that match. Took massive damage to the counter-attack and was in huge trouble from there. So, well, let's see what he can do here. How do you handle multi-pronged Terran harassment as Zerg, says Sepatha? I mean, having really good vision is the most important thing in that last game. Remember, I was pointing out how Namshar had good vision with the Overlords on the edges. By having more creep spread through the middle, you're able to spot these things more as well. So the more you control the center of the map, the easier it is to have more time to prepare. We saw Spore Crawlers on the edges. Namshar didn't have too many of those. If you're, if you get up to that economy, Namshar has 75, 85 workers. You're definitely totally okay to start putting down some more spores on the edges and that sort of stuff. And you also want to be good at splitting off a drop squad. So a lot of people use control group stealing. If they see their opponent sending a drop to their main, a single medevac, they're not going to send their whole army. They'll box 20 Zerglings, a few Banelings. They'll say, okay, I'm going to steal these onto a different control group and do that. Oh, God, the filth is here. Does he know it's coming? Did he scout this? He has no info. This looks like a normal build. He's gone home with his Reaper and his Hellions, and he's just sitting there. Oh, no. Namshar's cheesing super hard, guys. It's a Roach Nidus. Cure has no idea this is happening. He's going 3rd CC. Oh, it was a 4 Hellion, 3 CC build. A lot of Korean Terrans are playing very greedy in this matchup right now. And this is like the worst possible build. 2 Hellions. He didn't even go 4 Hellions. Oh, man. There's just nothing you can do. He doesn't have the material. What do we got? Okay, there's not a lot of units that will pop out. Let's be real. There's 3 Queens, soon to be 5 Queens, and 7 Roaches, and there'll be a Roach rally with it. But he's going to put it next to Stim. Oh, this is the pink eye, basically. So notice how... Okay, he's going to swap that out to try and get a Siege Tank, because that's his only tech lab right there. That's why he's swapping this factory here. But yeah, the tech lab here is the important thing. He can just get rid of that and say, you know what? This is the Eye of Terran, just the same way the Robo building Immortals is what stops this sort of attacks with Protoss. He does not even going for the tech lab, because if he kills the tech lab, this tank that's already queued up will keep building. So he's clicked on the factory, he says, come and fight me. The Marines and the Hellions are trying to hide behind the buildings, but the SCV's forced in to repair this, and now the Roaches and Queens are going to start focus firing those SCVs. Great micro there from Cure. His Marines and Hellions starting to do a little bit of damage. He's got a bunker up in the back. That Siege Tank will be able to survive. Holy shit, Cure. You god. Oh, that tank might be a little bit too far forward. Is it? I think he's doing all right. Drone starting up now for Namshar. I don't know if this has done enough damage. That tank is starting to get big hits. Notice that's the edge of its range. Namshar's going to evacuate the main base, and he's just going to pop out in the natural. Oof, okay. SCVs are just going to bail out of there. There is a bunker on the low ground. That tank is doing some massive damage. And Namshar's droning behind it. So, yeah, okay, if he can just spread creep down here and delay the natural, get rid of the engineering bays, then Namshar, I think, has damaged and slowed down the infrastructure of Kua enough. Also, this factory's lost its tech lab. No more tanks on the way. The SCVs are being pulled to the low ground. I don't know if that's the right call, Kua. You can't lose all these SCVs. Yes, you can't really let him control your low ground. So I get he wants to move down, but he's got to be careful. I think he needs to pull all these Marines down, and he needs to move this siege tank to the high ground. You can see Namshar does have that Overlord. He can bring that in for vision, but he hasn't made any Ravages. He doesn't have the gas for it. So I think Kua has to, yeah, move these tanks further down. This tank needs to move down. He's just queued that siege tank to siege up down there. And he's lost too many SCVs. 10 SCVs, up to 45 drones is Namshar. And Namshar's just prolonging the problem. Creep tumor there. Roaches and queens are now a little bit... Yeah, they overstayed their welcome. He should have built an evacuation Nidus. Losing these queens is pretty terrible for Namshar. If Namshar was able to just pop in a Nidus there, get out of dodge, and save those queens, that would have been massive. Scan goes down, eBay stay alive. This will be able to land in about 30-40 seconds and drop a bunch of mules. There are still 3 orbital command centers. You might think 30 SCVs is terrible. It's not. It's not actually that bad. The problem for Kua is the infrastructure is so delayed. Stim's going to be done soon, but just now trying to get into medevacs, and the upgrades still haven't started. So yeah, Kua needs to get this landed, needs to get more gases on the natural, and needs to start the upgrades because the roach speed, the 1-1 are on the way here for Namshar. Namshar is at 55 workers, so it's a solid 3-base economy, but he needs units out to defend. And here comes this very scary push. This is what I was talking about. Namshar's got so few units. He's got like 2 Ravages. Kua might be able to just stim in and kill him. It's a tank and 20 Marines. Another tank coming in from behind. He scans. He sees there's not that many units, but he does see Roaches and Ravages, and he knows another 20 Roaches and Ravages could pop out. So Kua's going to back off. It might have actually been one of those calls where Namshar was being too greedy, and Kua might have been able to just dive in there. Obviously, you know, his upper bracket life on the line. I can see why he didn't want to risk that. He's worried about just getting killed. Namshar, he's going to pop out here, maybe kill an add-on, and then just... Oh, he doesn't see that tank, but he could bile that. Oh, he's going to get a few SCVs. Not bad, not bad. He's going to go for the bile. Is he? No, he's just going to evacuate. Yeah, this is good. This is so cheap. The mining time alone is probably worth that for Namshar. But just pulling him back, and now suddenly Namshar's like, sweet. I've got my 4th up. Let's take these gases. He's going to start to drone now. A little bit slow on the droning. And he is going to swap into Baneling Tech. So we're going to see melee queued up after this +1 range. And it's going to be +2 armor, +1 melee. I wonder if we'll see mutas from here. I always feel like it's really awkward going into mutas if you've made this many Roach Ravager. But a lot of players like it because they know the other player is going to drop a lot to take advantage of the lack of anti-air with this army. More Roaches are in the way for now as they are the best unit at this moment for Namshar. But he really needs to start up that next wave of upgrades. Namshar, start your upgrades. We'll see how he goes. My man. Is there a difference between people who understand the game and people who can explain it? Yeah, of course. There's plenty of people can understand things and be terrible at explaining it. It also depends who you're explaining it to. And some people just don't have the will to try and dumb it down for people who don't have as much knowledge. So, kind of comes down to each person's different. Yeah. Good control here by Namshar. And I mean that in terms of control of the map. Still no upgrades, and he's still massing Roach Ravager. Namshar is going all in. He's starting his upgrades now, but that's after he's committed to a gigantic Roach Ravager army. Good pull by Kua. Kua realizes he's up against a crazy all-in, and he's just sieging tanks on the high ground. Yeah, abandon the low ground. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. It's going to get biled down. That's a lot of damage. Ow, 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 ow. Be careful with that, dude. Okay, good counter drop on the south side. He's going to find a bunch of drones. Oh, man, you can't afford to lose that base. Get SCVs over there and repair it right now. Okay, he's going to do that. This is taking a lot of damage. 5 drones. Nicely done by Kua. And now he can just bounce around. Remember, guys, there's no Spire. No Spire at all here. Yeah, Kua. This is exactly what you need to do here. Now, don't get me wrong. The Zerg has a better economy. But this is an awkward transition from Roaches and Ravages into actual good units. Roaches and Ravages are good in the early game. They're good in the mid game. If Cure can get up to 190 supply, 8-9 siege tanks before they fight, the Roach Ravager is shit. It's absolute shit unless you can ambush the Zerg. Now he scans and sees a ton of Ravagers making. The frack? Namshar is going full psychopath, man. He's just going mass Ravager right now. There's only a few Roaches there. You can probably unload right on top of that as Cure. Yeah, a few Marines will go down, but then the moment you get out this big little bio ball. A big little bio ball. You just said that, Pig. Wow. Big brain Pig speaks good words. He's going to try and stand and fight is Cure. Good focus fire by Namshar on the Marauders. But oh, the hot pickups on the Marauders. He actually blocked a whole bunch of road shots there. That was cool. And there we go. Hive and now Spire on the way. So it's going to be a Broodlord transition after this. Realizing he hasn't made Ling Speed this entire game, Namshar's going to start that up at the 11-minute mark. He's got a few more drones on the way. Cure doing a good job of dropping all over. At this point, though, Cure is making a big mistake, which is, where's the third? You've got a ton of siege tanks. Yeah, he could have taken this third already behind this. So that's taken a little bit too long. He's also paused SCV production, which I guess is okay because his minerals are so low. It's so important for Cure to get a fourth base. If Cure, yeah, his 2-2's only just, I think Cure needs to build a fourth command center. If Cure gets too distracted by his run-bys and stuff, like this is nice distracting, but as Cure, you've got to focus on getting that fourth base up. You've got to start muling this base like crazy. He's transferring workers, and if you don't get a fourth CC up, your economy is just going to drain down because there's not enough mineral patches. He's trying to build more SCVs, but he doesn't really need them. I think the fourth command center is actually more important than more SCVs at this point in this game, and then you can go up to 65, 75 workers or so. Since you're up against a Roach Ravager style as Cure, there's a lot of incentive to just drag the game out, but since we've got a Viper on the way, a Hive, and potentially Broodlords, you've got to keep your eye out for that. That's always like the very scary transition. Once those Broodlords come out, your siege tanks are bad. So is there going to be a window to push pre-Broodlord? I don't think so. He's stopped siege tank production. Cure's got a good supply. He's building a lot of Marine Marauder, but his 2-2 is so delayed. So I don't know if he's going to be able to set up a push. If he can just keep denying a fifth base and doing drops and just take a fourth, go to Ghosts, that's going to be good. Finally, a CC gets dropped. I really wish that was a little bit earlier here for Cure. He's got a good supply. His run-bys are doing good. Ooh, okay. The roaches that were in the main to defend drops come down. If he was there for just a few more seconds without the units there, 10, 15 more drones go down. And remember, Namshar's economy is not that big. 66 workers. Drop on the south side being annoying as well. You know, I'd love to see a Marauder drop on top of those Banelings and just kill like 7 or 8 of them. Just be like, blow up on me, bitch. Namshar's going to go for the counterattacks. And remember, Ravagers can slow down this push. Remember I was talking about ambushes are really huge against tanks? If you can use these Ravagers to ambush, that's big. He scans ahead, realizes he's not being surrounded. Does lose a tank or two there. Nice little run-bys here by Namshar. He's trying to sacrifice out his Roach supply. He knows his Roach supply is utter trash. So he's like, just buy time. All these Roaches need to do is buy time and slow down the engagement. He's got so much supply tied up in Ravagers as well. Ugh, trash supply, trash supply. He needs to slow down this push. He needs to be in front of it. I think Cure, yeah, he's got a little drop in the main. He's kind of forgotten about that. That Viper does show itself. He's got to get in before the Broodlords. The Corruptors aren't out just yet. 6 Corruptors are on the way. Broodlords not morphing just yet, but the Greatest Buy is ready. It's only a matter of a minute or so until that's ready. If that drop goes in, that'll do big damage. Finally, it goes in. The 5th base on the south side falls, and these Marines and Marauders doing good. No 3-3 upgrades on the way just yet for Cure, so he's looking for more damage. Broodlords are starting to morph down here, but he's low on gas. Losing the gas mining in the main right now is also kind of tough. Gonna lose 1 or 2 more drones here. And at the same time, another drop on the north side, getting ready to clear creep. This one lone creep tumor being a massive dick. He thought he cleared up all the creep. He did not. He scans, gets rid of it. Still an insane amount of Ravagers. Remember, guys, 14 Ravagers. That's 3 supply each. That's 42 supply of Ravagers, which are pretty worthless in a frontal engage. But now that the Broodlords come in, they could actually be useful with their corrosive biles. They've got pretty good attack range as well, even though their damage is very average. So this drop going to continue to be annoying. And triple starport coming down. Cure seems to love his extra starport transition. So he's already started Vikings, which is a big difference to the previous game. Killing a few Ravagers. Early game, that feels good. At this stage, you're like, he doesn't even really want these Ravagers, does he? Yeah. So he's going to go and counterattack with those. Ravagers can be very annoying. Drop on the south side is going to get rid of the 5th again. The army here for Cure is still posturing around, but there are Broodlords out. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're not actually... No! Cure! Where's the repair? Oh no, the next round of Biles is going to take it down? Yeah, he spreads it across the repairing SCVs. Oh, is he going to get it? Oh my god, the repair. Oh my god, is he going to get it? He gets it. Oh, that first repair reaction just being too slow. Kua did snipe the 5th on the low ground, but that 4th, remember I was talking about that 4th being so important because the mineral patches in the main and natural are gone. He's got nowhere for his SCVs to mine. He just lost 19 SCVs as well, which is pretty trash. Broodlords are here. You can't be out on the map at this time, I don't think. What have we got for anti-air? The Queens. The Queens need to pull up for Namshar. This time he has pulled a few Queens towards the front. That is going to make a big difference. And we see Kua saying, I'm not going to fight you front on. I'm just going to go drop you. And I'm going to... Okay, yeah, there we go. Drop the main. The rest of the army veers to the south. 4th base now is rebuilding. The problem is Kua's economy is poopy. You want to kind of swarm across the Zerg. When they go for this really slow, awkward transition into Lingbane, slow, awkward transition into Broodlords off-road Ravager, you've got a lot of time to get up extra bases. But Kua has not managed to secure a 5th. Losing that 4th could be the game-ending mistake. A nice parasitic bomb there. Ooh, got to split up those medevacs, and another second parasitic bomb goes down. Luckily, the 2 full medevacs do survive, and they are deep in the red, though. So this is still quite scary. Kua's army down here is minuscule. There's no Marines in here. I mean, the Banelings, obviously, like, yeah, that's not the best army against siege tanks. It's mostly Banelings. Will get a cancel on this 5th. That's something that keeps Kua alive in this game, but he needs more command centers. He needs more SCVs if he wants to go longer in this game. We've already got those two Vipers. Do they have any parasitic bombs? No parasitic bombs. Queen's in the open. That'll be a great pick-off, but the transfuses are here, and they've come too deep on creep. The Lingbane's going to punish. Actually, they're worried about siege tanks. Still worried about that. Drop on the north side there, deflected by Broodlords. So trying to get a 5th base up is Namshar. His income's going to dip in a minute. You can see he's still got a full mineral line. But they're getting very low on minerals. This one getting depleted. This one's almost completely gone. Finally, this 4th base back up, and that will lift Kua's income. But remember, he's using a lot of his scans, burning them just to try and slow down this creep. Namshar's doggedness about constantly respreading creep is keeping him in this game, and really just slowing down the economy of Kua as a side effect. Still, another deny on this 5th on the south side. Kua's been so good on top of that. But I'm getting a bit worried about abducts on these medevacs in the near future. Yeah, there's like a Corruptor Viper squad there. So it's like if you pick up, you're gonna lose those full medevacs. He's got to just run away on the ground. So we've got ghosts on the way now. How many barracks do we have? Just 5. He's only on 5 barracks? Holy shit! Wait. He went single factory into triple starport and off 5 barracks. Ugh, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, guys. He needs another command center so he can actually get up more barracks. He needs at least 2 more barracks with tech labs so he can build that. He's also gone 3 tech labs, 2 reactors. So as I mentioned earlier, Q is playing a heavy Marauder style against Zerg. In this game, it makes sense because it's against Roach Ravager, but I think he might have done double tech lab in that last game, even though it was Ling Bane, because it did feel like his Marauder count was very high early on. I might go back and check that replay really quickly after this one. I just want to see. It's very rare for pro players to play more than 1 tech lab against Ling Bane on their first 5 barracks. Always fascinating, though, when someone like Kua does something a little bit different. Oh, that's what I'm talking about! Oh, the boosts are out! Oh, full medevacs. Ouch, 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 ouch. Namshar, he's had his creep pushed back. He's constantly taking damage on either side, but he's doing a good job of splitting off like a single Corruptor just to wear these medevacs down, the Ling Bane on the ground to overwhelm. And he's like, just let me get my 5th base up, and he's finally establishing it. He's got some spores. He's added Infestors, Queens, Vipers, Broodlords, Corruptors. His army is insane. And this is what I'm talking about. Main base now floats over for Kua, but Kua just was not established enough in this game. As I mentioned earlier, you've either got to kind of make that decisive tank push work and go for it, but because he wasn't able to do that, I feel like he needed to be taking more command centers, more SCVs sooner. As it is, he's 1 Ling run by away from just being dead economically. Nice pullback on the Marines there. But yeah, his Marine production is very low, so even just the high number of Zerglings here is problematic, and he's going to spread his units out so the Banelings don't hit everything, but he just gets wrecked by the Ling Bane. This is 3-3 Ling Bane. Terran does have 3-3 as well, but the Adrenal Glands is pretty epic. Adrenal Gland Zerglings, like, wreck Marauders like no tomorrow. You need a really good Marine or Ghost count to deal with that. And looks like there was a little bit of lag in this. So they had to pause, unpaused. Ghost Academies, nukes, you can't afford this. You need more bases. Kua, you need more economy. It's too early to do this. Yeah, I gotta be critical. I think Q is playing good, but I just don't think at any point he's giving himself enough economy. I think you really need to build that SCV count, and most importantly, the command center count up. If he loses one base, he's dead. And it's like it's at this point where the game's slowed down enough that I think he needs to kind of realize that's the scenario we're in. Advanced ballistics isn't here. Building 4 liberators at a time. Now, liberators, if you get like 12 of them and they just all blast the corruptors, it can work very well. Especially because we don't have any carapace upgrades until just now. The double spire, the 3-1 on the way. Only +1 ship weapons for the Vikings, and that's going to hurt in the long term. These are all the little things which Q is missing. Where's the building armor? It's not there. There's no building armor upgrade. Because he can't afford it, because he hasn't got those extra bases up as quickly. Finally, another command center is coming down here. But yeah, I definitely feel like Q needed to kind of go into the longer stage. He's still got a chance here, of course, but I just feel like Namshar's got an ultimate Zerg army. When you've got both spellcasters, good counter corruptors and broodlords, very hard to deal with. Now, whenever you start getting nuked like this, I think it's really good to split off a small squad of Zerglings, an Overseer or 2, and a few Banelings, and just leave them on the opposite side of the map to where your army is. Liberator Ras is coming in from multiple sides. Defensive nuke coming down. Ooh, barely keeps that command center alive. And this Liberator going to do a nice little bit of harassment. We've got this Ghost here as well. He's like, let me at him, man. He's going to drop another nuke there. Very nice. That Lib doing good damage as well. The harassment coming in for Cure in a big way. Oh, he's looking for the snipes. He's looking for the snipes. Yep, while Namshar's distracted by the nukes, lands a few snipes, takes out an Infestor, a few Corruptors. That Ghost did get taken down. And that Liberator just went down there as well. So, like, lots of command centers are going down. His SCV count's still not amazing, though. If Cure can just, secure a few more bases. His Ghost count is up 14. 22 Vikings. That's too many unless you've got sick Viking micro. Let's see if Cure, he's spreading his Vikings across multiple screens. That's what you've got to do in this scenario. Is it going to be enough? Because the parasitic bombs, the fungals, and the corruptors and the queens are going to be epic against this. Like, there we go. We already see a fungal. And if those Vikings ever A-move forward, they're all going to clump. So you've kind of got to wait here as Cure. Oh, he just killed 2 of his own command centers. No! No! Oh, man. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, another command center goes down to the Broodlords. Ouch, ouch, ouch. No! No! I just remembered this game. No! I like had this moment. I'm like, oh, I saw this clip. I saw this clip off the other stream. Oh no. Oh man, he's down to 6 ghosts. He's still got a good Viking count, but look, they're too clumped. Parasitic bomb lands. Oh, big parasitic bombs. The Vikings are too clumped. The command center going down. Oh, Namshar's dismantling this, and Cure took him so long to build that ghost count. Is going to go down 0-2 there to Namshar. Definitely didn't look as practiced in the late game as some of those other Terrans like TY. Hot damn.